Thank you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your big Saturday show, 3, 2, 1. Can you do that yet?
The first impression I had of Ted was, Christ, he's got better eyes than me.
He would love to be a top model, I think.
I think he was the person who first made people aware that Mugabe spelt backwards was E by a gum.
Dynamite. Dynamite.
I was told that he was a real cockney.
Charismatic, very professional.
He's got this fantastic machine in his head that can record everything, hold it, keep it, and then bring it out. Not many people can do that.
Maliszewski, Rubinstein, Arensky and Tchaikovsky, Sapelenkov, David Trev, Cherep and Krajinowski, Godowski, Atabuchev, Moniusko, Akimeko, Soloviev, Prokofiev, Tiomkin, Koroshenko, there's Glinkler, Botniansky, Rebikov, Ilinsky, there's Metabala, Kirov, Zolotorov, Enkovchitsky, and Sokolov and Kopolov, Dukelsky and Klonovsky, and Shostakovich, Borodin, Glier and Novakovsky, there's Liadov and Karagarov, Makeyevich, Panchego, Dargamispi, Cherbychev, Skryafin, Vasilego, Stravinsky, Rimsky, Kosakov, Mazowski, and Grachanov, Glazanov, Arasezak, Wikalinikov, Rachmaninoff.
Anytime you're Lambert's way, any evening, any day, you'll find that...
I come from Kennington, Lambeth Walk, 13 Arden House, Black Prince Road, Kennington SE11.
The working class people are the best class in the world, and that's what they were.
And all I remember was the laughter. I didn't know what they were talking about, but we'd go from flat to flat, and everybody would be screaming with laughter.
Well, they were just straightforward working people. My father mainly drove lorries. My mother worked as an office cleaner.
She was a very funny lady, and so it was in the blood. So that's where it came from. His dad was very serious, and I think Ted takes after his mum, if anything.
I mean, she wasn't a pushy mum at all. I think she would always say, oh, love reflected glory. That always made me raw. She was a sweetheart, she really was.
What they expected, I don't know. I think they were shocked that they bred this son who had so much talent.
When my mum and dad would go to work in the morning, I would get the records out straight away, and I'd be miming and doing all the records. When Martin sang, like, we're in the moon, when you, oh, listen to that. But the K, double talk and scat blew me away.
Oh, Danny boy.
I think Danny Kaye was the thing that first inspired him into show business. He saw Danny Kaye when he was 13 or 14 at the Palladium, and his life, I think, changed from that day.
This thing walked on with his hair and his nose and his sports jacket, and the presence on stage was like something you'd never seen in your life.
Spread your loving arms way out in space. You do the eagle rock with such style and grace. You put your left foot out and then you bring it back. That's what I call Born to Jack.
And from the first routine, he blew the place away. And it was the most unbelievable, entertaining act you've ever seen in your life. Well, of course, from that moment, I was gone.
We were brought up at the Hollywood University. That was the school we went to. We didn't go to public school or private school. We went to the Hollywood University 5 times a week.
All I wanted to do was to do what they were doing. I did a radio talent contest called Spot the Winner.
And one of the people involved in that was a BBC band leader, Charles Shadwell. And he gave Ted a break, first of all, and he stayed friends with him for a very long time, and he appeared at the Empire Chatham with him, so he was one of his sort of guiding lights, but it just seemed to build. It gradually sort of got better as each year went by.
We were in the RAF together. When we came out, he went one way, I went another.
So I go to the Labour Exchange when I come out, and I went straight up and I said, I want a job in show business. So they gave me a job at Keith Prowse, booking tickets. And I think that's where my delivery happened. Hello, what's that? Yes, you want 2 stalls tonight for Drury Lane, A for Apple, 64.65. OK, 2 25-shilling stalls tonight. OK, thank you, bye-bye. All day long.
Go, you mixed up the scene. It's so delicious, get a hubby in the pizza.
I started off in review, doing all the smart West End kind of reviews. Then I wanted to get into what was left of variety, and that was the summer show with the 7 changes of programme. Then I changed agents and I went with the Delfont office. A guy called Keith Devon was marvellous. And within 18 months I was at the Palladium. But then, of course, television was coming in big. And, you know, oh, to get on television, wouldn't that be great?
Walk tall. Walk tall.
Michael Hurl from the BBC came up to see me and booked me for the Billy Cotton show. Billy Cotton, when I was growing up as a kid, he was everybody's Sunday afternoon dinner, you know. OK, roast is on the table, sit down, da 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 da, wakey wakey, wakey, I went on to it, and I just hope I do well, and thinking if I do well, that's it. I don't have to worry. Bang!
Ladies and gentlemen, Ted Rogers. Thank you very much indeed, Bill. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How do you do?
And then, oh, great, can we have you back? And you go, yes. Oh, what am I going to do? What am I going to do next time?
Come on, fellas, let's give them hell.
That's when I got used to writers. You see, oh, this guy's going to write something for you, this guy's going to write something for you.
Beginning to appear regularly on television had to be a major step, because you can, although he had done a lot of appearing in sort of shows around the country in the variety halls, they were beginning to sort of fade out at that sort of time.
We're getting to the end of the Billy Cotton show. They then offered me my own series at BBC, and it didn't work. You know, it didn't come off, so we came off, and that was the end of that. Then I started guesting on the other channels, and then eventually I got Sunday Night at the Palladium.
I did a season at the London Palladium, and among the people that we would have around me for the show, the name of Ted came, and since I had seen him on the telly, worked with him on the telly, I said, oh, well, okay. At the time, he was so nervous, so running, always running, do this, do that, ask his guy, is that the line we wrote, you know?
I'd gone from being a review comic, singing and dancing and stuff, to being a patter man.
It probably was the last time Ted was working with somebody, that from then on, people would be working with him.
We'll have Manhattan, the Bronx and Staten Island too.
I was on tour with Tom Jones, and we went in for a Sunday night to do a show, and bang, it was a good show. That got me hosting the Royal Show that year.
Good evening. Oh, sing, yes, sing a song. Oh, sing out loud, sing out strong.
And Perry Como was the headliner on the Royal Show, and I was the compere, and I'd gone on and done the opening spot, and as I came off, a fella said, "Hey kid, come this way." Well, what? And there's thousands of people, and they took me straight into Como's room. He said, "Look, we're going to do a tour in the spring. Will you do it? Because, you know, I think that's great." And I said, "Oh, what do you say to Como?" "No."
Oh, sing. You sing about happy and not sad, and that's what we want you to be tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Certainly happy. I'm very happy. At least I was until that mic didn't come off.
They started to talk to me about America, you see. I said, "You shouldn't be here, you should be in Vegas." I said, "Oh, great, you know, lovely."
And he was so happy that people liked him there. So it was like another door was opened, and he knew that he could depend on that in his future career.
When we said goodbye, he said to me at the hotel, he said, "Won't forget you, Ted." I said, "Oh, yeah, great, we all say that." 10 to 9 on a Saturday night, I got a call. "Ted Rogers?" "Yeah, Bing Crosby, San Francisco." "Don't bloody give us that. Who is it? Come on, who is it?" It was him. So he didn't understand what I was talking about, thank goodness. And he says, "Look, Como says you're the fellow I've got to work with." So I said, "Well, what? I'm coming over. Would you do this and that? We're doing a tour." And bum, 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 bum. He said, "I don't just want you to do your act. Do you sing?" I said, "Well, yeah." So he said, "I want to do a song with you." And he said, "I want to do a double with you, know, like I do with Hope." "Yeah, yes, of course." Oh, geez, what can you do?
Well, that settles everything. Mr. Ted and Mr. Bing, we gone fishing. Oh, yeah.
He was wonderful because of the delivery that he had. He had that slow delivery that made straight lines funny.
I do know that he was very popular with American actors when they came over here. I mean, the really top line Crosbys and whatever, they would always ask for Ted to front their shows.
The higher you get, the easier it is. You know, because that audience they're very up. They've come in to see Andy Williams. They've come in to see Perry Como. So it's an audience that's going to listen. So all you've got to do is deliver. You haven't got to fight or prove, "Oh, it's him from that. Oh, yeah." There's none of that.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. It was a game show. It ran for about an hour. And as the name tried to suggest, it was 3 things in one. It was a game, it was an entertainment, and it was a quiz.
The main prize was a car at the end of it, so there was one girl that drove the car and one girl that would stand next to the car. Also to bring the clues on, there was often clues brought in, so that was really the main thing of the girls, and working on the set as well. Dusty Bin was a little dustbin on wheels.
Dusty Bin was a threat to the contestants. We tried to make him into this sort of mischievous little character, and the guy who developed him used to dress him up in all sorts of things to go with the theme.
First week, the critics hated it because they would do. Buff. But we're number 16. I said, is that good? Is that good? That's great. The next week, we're number 8. Are we? Oh, great. The next week, we were number 2, and the next week, we're number 1. I still don't understand. Well, what does it mean? Well, it means there's 16 million people. Well, so what? What's that mean? You know, I don't care, because I'm not doing what I do. I'm just presenting a game show, and this isn't me.
Good evening, everybody. Once again, welcome to another friendly session of family fun. You know what it is you're on. OK, what is it? 3, 2, 1. That's it.
Then you become, oh, well, he's that fellow. It's him, isn't it? How do you do that?
I never really know how Ted ever did the 3, 2, 1 sign.
You must start off that way around, because then you can go that way around. If you start off the other way around, you're sunk.
It's 3, it's 2, it's 1, but I can't do it as quick as he did, but he was always a bit faster than I was.
The director said, look, go to commercial, say, look, we'll be back on 3, 2, 1. I said, no, you can't do that, can you? You can't do it like that. I can't. That's got to be... You've got to do that. And what did you do then? Out they came again. What did you do? I said, well, that's all I did. Left-handed as well. You know, it's easy. I don't see the problem.
Well, I think the tragedy, if there's a tragedy, he did the 3, 2, 1, and I think that people thought, well, he was limited to that.
I get so many audiences saying, I never knew you did that. Oh, dear, why didn't you do that on 3, 2, 1? Because they wouldn't let me, you know.
Within 10 years of 3, 2, 1, the youngsters that grew up knew nothing about what Ted Rogers did before, just that, in fact, he was a game show host.
There was a certain amount of value that could be got out of Ted in 3, 2, 1 in terms of the comedy, but obviously he was restricted by the format of the show.
If you're on television, it's 6 minutes. If you're talking to somebody on a talk show, it might be 10 minutes, 12 minutes, you know. And it's only a chunk of what you are. And there's always that wonderful thing of being live. The people know it's now.
Spread your loving arms way out in space. You do the Eagle Rock with such style and grace. You put your left foot out and then you bring it back.
You're the top, you're the Colosseum.
He can recite every film Danny Kaye made. He does a brilliant Danny Kaye.
It's easy.
Jackie Mason, he can do Jackie Mason, and so Jackie Mason's there.
You got to know who you are. I didn't always know who I was. I went to a psychiatrist, he knew. Right away, he took one look at me, he said, this is not you.
He didn't really always speak like a Londoner. I thought he spoke more like an Australian.
Here, Rog, what? This fella's come up to me, he said, what? I said, here. He's gone, what? I've gone, bang!
There's nice people and nasty people, and he's one of the nice people.
Won't you play the music so the cradle can rock to a lullaby in ragtime?
I'm starting to cry.